Selling a house in the UK, you're just signing yourself up for an emotional roller coaster. I've been selling my house for over a year now, for 15 months, and this is one of the most stressful things I've ever had to go through in my life. And after this, and being a homeowner, I don't think I'll ever buy again. Firstly, you have to deal with estate agents. Oh my goodness. I don't know what your experience has been, but I put my house on the market in March 2024. And firstly, I was with one of the big high street agents, and you would think that they would know what they're doing and they'd do a good job for you. It was an absolute nightmare. They did find me a buyer, but this buyer spent 4 months doing nothing on the process. And every time I asked the agents, are they moving forward? Why haven't they answered any of the solicitors? What, why is there no queries coming forward? There was always, oh, it's been done, it's been done. After 4 months, they pulled out. 4 months of my time wasted. I was absolutely furious with the estate agents for this constant telling me it's going forward. They weren't even checking. Oh, they were a nightmare. That whole process was super stressful because of them. So I went to another estate agent. This time I picked a family firm. And I thought, family run, it's going to be much better. Going to get more of a personal touch. And again, they were terrible. They just added to the stress. Again, they found me a buyer. They did nothing to push the process along. And after 4 months, it fell through. I never spoke to the same person twice. I was constantly emailing, messaging, phoning, leaving messages, and none of them ring you back. It's as if they don't appreciate just how stressful this is for you. Thankfully, I found a good agent this time, and he has found me a buyer. He actually found me 3 buyers within a week, and he's been really good. And he is pushing the process forward. Now, that doesn't mean that this isn't, won't fall through for another reason, but finding a good estate agent, what I have learned, is so difficult. But when you do, they take so much stress away from you. I mean, it's still stressful, of course it is, because even though I know he's pushing the process forward, I'm still anxious about it all the time, because I've had this happen to me twice, waiting 4 months and it all fall through. I'm so anxious now, and I just can't help it. And I feel a little bit sorry for my estate agent, because he must think I'm a very neurotic woman. But I just want to know that things are moving forward. But he is doing a much better job. So, finding a good agent does help. It doesn't relieve all the stress, but it certainly helps. At least they're not adding to it. As I tell you, those first 2, I went grayer than ever. Oh, they were terrible. Then you have your conveyancers. I do not understand why the process takes so long in the UK. There's endless paperwork and forms to fill in, which I get, because, you need to let the buyer know what they're getting. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But there is a lot of it. But what I struggle with is, why does it take so blooming long? They're averaging about 4 months in the UK now, and these contracts are not difficult. They are a standard form contract. The conveyancer just puts in the names and the addresses and sends it off. Yes, you have the inquiries, but they're pretty straightforward questions that you're going to get back and forth. And, you as the seller answer them. So as long as you're fast, why again is it taking so long? Searches do not take as long as they make out that they take, but they seem to drag that out forever. And surveys, well, it takes months to get a survey. It's like, I just don't understand why it takes 4 months. Just get on with it. Just do the contracts, do the searches, get your survey, get on with it. But I don't think that's the seller's fault. That's just how it is in the UK. There just seems to be this different about attitude. It's so frustrating. Why? Why is it so complicated? It's not complicated. Just get on with it. But they don't. It takes forever. It's madness. then you have all the emotional stress, don't you? So not only have you got to put up with like the stress from your estate agents, the stress from your conveyancers, the stress from your buyer, worrying whether it's going to go through or not, but it's all the emotional stress. You know, that this was my home. When I bought this, I thought this would be my home for life. And, you know, I decorated it and I made it the way I wanted it for my lifetime home. And, you know, I completely renovated my garden. It was like a tip when I came here, and I built a garden that I absolutely love. And I love my house. So it's, you forget about that, don't you? You get so emotionally attached to just bricks and mortar, but you do. Then let's talk about the finances. Now you think you've got estate agent fees, you've got your conveyancing fees, but what about all these other fees that come in? Things you have to do to make the house look ready to sell, repairs you may have to do. Oh, never ending. Now in my case, because I'd sold my house last year and I thought it was going through, because my agents told me it was, I sold most of my furniture, but I gave my beds away to my son when he bought a house. When it all fell through twice, I ended up sleeping on a blow-up bed, and then I had to buy another bed. Another cost I did not expect. Oh, honestly, we are talking now, 15 months, and this stress is not going. Now, the other thing is, owning a house in the UK, it's really expensive nowadays, isn't it? I mean, I've got my council tax. I live alone, so I do get a 25% discount, but it's still a lot of money. But the electricity bills are quite high now. You've got maintenance costs, you've got house insurance. What else? What else is there? There's so much to pay for it. And it's really expensive to just own a home. So from my point of view, when I'm setting up to go and travel overseas full time. And the reason I'm doing that is because I can't really afford to own a house and travel extensively. So it became one or the other. And it's taken me a long time to emotionally get used to not owning a home, but I'm getting there. And this is another thing, this process has taken so long that although I love my house, the longer this goes on, it becomes more of a burden that I can't wait to leave. And that is so sad, because I'm kind of falling out of love with my house because of the blooming process. Anyway, but, you know, the expense of owning a home, and I find it really, really stressful, and keeping up with the maintenance and everything. I just am finding it very difficult to cope with it financially. And it doesn't give you any flexibility, does it? You can't really travel unless you're really lucky and you can get good house insurance, but most of them won't insure your house if it's empty for more than 1 to 3 months. So it's really tricky. You have to kind of make a decision. But what I've kind of come to terms with over the last 15 months is I don't want to be tied anywhere. Certainly not in the moment. And I did kind of think that I might buy somewhere in the future, but I don't think I will. I'm getting more into this mindset that I don't need to own something. It doesn't determine who I am. It doesn't give my status. For me, it's more about, I want to just be happy now going into my retirement and be able to do the things I want to do without worrying about the boiler breaking down or having to fix the roof or things like that, or how am I going to pay the electricity bill? I just don't feel like it's worth it anymore. So renting and being more flexible and where I can be and what I can do is becoming more and more appealing. I know, like growing up and, when we're working, we're taught to the importance of owning your own home. But my mindset has really shifted. It really has. And I don't see that being what makes, I don't think that's the status I need, or I actually find it very what's the word I'm looking for? Not imprisoning, but constricting, and I think I've always had a free spirit in me, and it's becoming to come out more now, and the flexibility to live where you want, when you want, and not be tied down, especially in retirement when this is my time to do the things I want to do. Now I have no responsibilities, nobody to look after. I don't really need this. But also, I never ever want to go through the selling process again. So even though when I bought this house, I thought I would be here forever, and even if I bought another house, you don't know what's going to happen. You know, I wasn't here forever, so I might not be. I never want to go through this selling process again until they completely overhaul it in the UK and make this a much simplified process, and one that gives you more certainty instead of 4 months plus of not knowing what's going to happen. I don't want to be a part of that ever again. And buying a house isn't much easier either. You're also in the same boat. You have no certainty, and you spend all this money on searches, and you don't know what's going to happen. It just doesn't seem right, does it? Anyway, so for many reasons. So one, because owning a home is very draining and expensive and limits what I can do with my life. And two, because I never ever want to go through the selling or buying process in the UK ever again. It's just too much. Anyway, thanks for watching. And let me know what your thoughts are. Are you trying to sell a house or buy a house in the UK? How are you finding the process? How are you coping with it? Is it stressful for you, or is it just me? I don't think it can be just me. But let me know what you think. And thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves. Ciao.